And some news just coming in connection with the oxygen black marketing case. The anticipatory bail plea of Navneet Kalra has been adjourned to Tuesday. There is no stay on the police's coercive action. State through prosecutor has informed judge at the Saket court in Delhi that Kalra's case has been handed over to the crime branch. Says it might go to some other court. Kalra's counsel says he is being hounded. Questions invoking of Essential Commodities Act. Kalra faces allegations of hoarding. Anisha Mathur is with us for more details on that story. Anisha, break this down for us as far as the progress in this matter in the court is concerned.
Well, sir, the anticipatory bail plea had been filed by Navneet Kalra. Remember, he is facing charges under the Essential Commodities Act for hoarding. Now, his lawyers have said that the Essential Commodities Act could not have been invoked because the concentrators have not yet been declared an essential commodity, and that he's being hounded by the police, even though he has claimed that he has done nothing illegal as such. Now, the police has been asked to file their reply by tomorrow. The IO, the investigation officer, has been asked to join the hearing tomorrow. However, the prosecution has also informed the court that since the matter has now been handed over to the crime branch instead of the regular police, it is possible that the matter will have to go to the concerned court, which is handling crime branch matters, and not to the metropolitan magistrate who handles other matters. We'll have to see what happens tomorrow when this matter comes up once again. Back to you.
Anisha, thanks for getting us up to speed with that. Meanwhile, the manhunt for Khan Chacha owner Navneet Kalra continues as Delhi cops raided multiple locations to trace the key player in the oxygen hoarding racket case. Arvind Oja and Munish Pandey bring us this report.
A posh market, a high society criminal, a deal involving an essential commodity during a raging pandemic, and a game of hide and seek with cops. This is the story of Navneet Kalra, and the hunt for him seems nothing less than a crime web series. Hours before Delhi Crime Branch raided Kalra's Chhatarpur farmhouse, the high-end oxygen concentrator black marketer fled the place with his family. His guard says the owner of Khan Chacha food chain was hiding in his luxurious farmhouse.
छतरपुर के गदईपुर इलाके में ये जो कालरा का आलीशान फार्म हाउस है, यहाँ पर दिल्ली पुलिस की टीम आई थी, लेकिन उसके पहले ही जब रेड की जानकारी मिली थी तभी नवनीत कालरा इस फार्म हाउस से अपनी 2 लग्जरी कार के साथ बैठकर परिवार समेत फरार हो गया था। यहाँ तक कि ड्राइवर को भी नहीं लेकर गया था। तो कब निकले थे वो लोग यहाँ से?
वो रात में निकले, मेरी तो दिन ड्यूटी थी, रात में निकले हैं।
कितने बजे?
वही 8:30 पौने 9 के आसपास होगा।
तो ड्राइवर को लेकर नहीं गए?
नहीं जी।
गाड़ियों से निकले हैं?
हाँ जी।
कौन कौन निकला?
फैमिली निकली इनकी पूरी, दोनों गाड़ियों में।
और नवनीत कालरा भी थे उसमें?
हाँ, फैमिली वही है।
फैमिली पूरी।
हाँ जी।
After conducting multiple raids in Khan Market, Delhi police nabbed 4 accused, but the key player continues to dodge the cops. The police had recovered close to 100 oxygen concentrators from Khan Chacha restaurant in Khan Market during raids on Thursday and Friday. The Delhi High Court is scheduled to hear oxygen hoarding case on Monday as the manhunt for Kalra continues.
The Delhi police has conducted multiple raids at several premises, including the farmhouse of Navneet Kalra, who is still absconding. A team of Delhi police has also been tasked to prepare a list of possible witnesses who might have bought oxygen concentrators at a very high price from Navneet Kalra. Munish Pandey in Delhi for India Today.
And we have an update and some news just coming in as far as the BBMP bed scam case is concerned. 17 suspended minority employees at South BBMP War Room can now join back work as cops have not been able to find anything against them in the bribe for bed scam, which was raised by the BJP MP from the region, Tejasvi Surya. Congress's Priyank Kharge has hit out, saying who is going to restore the dignity of the staffers? Who is going to undo the humiliation they suffered at hands of a communal narcissist? South Bangalore MP Tejasvi Surya has rolled out an emergency oxygen service where oxygen concentrators are sent straight to the patient's doorstep. This even as the BBMP is assured to rapidly ramp up oxygen beds. Tejasvi Surya explains.
We started very humbly with about 10 oxy concentrators. With the help of donors from both India and abroad, we now have about 200 oxygen concentrators for Bengaluru. And in the coming 10-15 days, our idea is to have about 1,000 oxygen concentrators to serve the needs of people of Bengaluru South. So, oxygen concentrators are a very important part in the fight against COVID. This will also reduce the pressure, the need for a bed in the hospital system. So,
But I'd still like to ask you about ramping up the beds with oxygen at the hospitals itself. Is there anything that the government is doing to ensure that people who
Yes.
are going to hospitals also find a oxygen
yes.
bed?
So, speaking for Bengaluru specifically, the government has the target of increasing about 2,000 oxygenated beds in the next 1 month. Now we have already done about 600 such beds using in our PHCs and maternity homes. So that pace of increasing oxygenated beds is also rapidly increasing. So I request people of Bengaluru to call on 080 6191 4960. This is our Oxy helpline number. You can talk to our volunteers, upload your prescription on our portal, your oxy saturation levels, and we will try. We don't have enough oxygen supply
We
concentrators.
see you have a bunch of them. What's the quantity that you have
We
here?
have
as of now?
about 85 oxygen concentrators of 5 liters, which can help people in pre-COVID stage. We have about 150 concentrators, about 1 to 2 liters one, which can help people post-COVID recovery.
Well, COVID-19 scare has pushed people to buy essentials from vendors who promise a good price. But what if the product turns out to be fake? A fake sanitizer racket has been busted by locals in Bengaluru. Well, these 5-liter sanitizer cans that are priced at 500 to 2,500 smell awful, are sticky and burn the hand once used. The blue liquid sold as hand sanitizer has no medical clearance, is manufactured in large quantities, sold to individuals and companies for a big sum. A complaint by a customer has been filed at a local police station. Police is probing the matter.
Unfortunately, amid the pandemic, we're unearthing one scam after the other. And here you have a sanitizer scam where you have in Bengaluru people selling sanitizers and not the real one, fake sanitizers that could really be detrimental to your health. It stinks. It smells very odd. It has a very sticky, weird feeling, and it's been sold. It's been sold for 2,500 rupees for this bottle, and is sold as a proper branded sanitizer. It's been given to people, independently who could buy it, to companies. The cops have now just raided it. Of course, Yuvraj here, who's a cooperator, he has managed to find these men. You've got to be aware because you have all kinds of people supplying and manufacturing all kinds of medical goods and hand sanitizer, which is now an essential commodity. Here we're looking at people manufacturing fake sanitizers. God knows what kind of chemicals that's going into this. It's sticky, it's smelly, and it's being sold for exorbitant prices.
People are going through a very rough phase. You can't be making money and you can't be playing around with people's life by selling fake sanitizers and fake health products. And there is a big scam behind this, and there are a lot of people involved behind this. There are a lot of big names also behind this. It's going to come out very soon. They have a factory in Mysore Road. And there's already a couple of complaints filed against the owner of this whatever company. So it has been filed, and there's a thorough investigation happening right now.
Well, in the midst of the monster COVID surge, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka are entering into a 14-day complete lockdown starting today. Here's a ground report.
There are barricades that are placed across the city at important junctions. Police are over here. They are actually checking people who all come out, for what purpose they are coming out. After 10 o'clock, what we are told, in fact, the DG and IGP very clearly stated on social media also that there should be absolutely no movement of vehicles outside after 10. And this is what the police will do over here. If you come out after 10, your vehicle will 100% be seized. You can come out for emergency purposes only. 2, hotels, eateries will be open, but only for takeaway. You will not be allowed to take your vehicle, either your bike or your car, to one of those places. You can walk maximum. You can use the delivery services to get all your stuff. Essential services, industries, they will be open. That is the maximum that the government has allowed. Now what is happening is this. Karnataka is registering close to 50,000 cases on a daily basis. The deaths have also increased across the state, where we are very close to 500 on a daily basis. In order to control that and stop that and keep people safe, these are the measures that the government has brought in. So please stay home and stay safe. With video journalist Madhuwar, Nolan Pinto for India Today.
Restaurants are allowed to work, that provided in specific times they can give takeaway service. Zomato and Swiggy, like food aggregator apps, are allowed to work. However, malls and theaters are not allowed to work. Large locations, large halls are not allowed to function at all. These are the kind of restrictions that have been brought forward. Yet, unlike last lockdown, where there was a complete restriction of movements, this time it is not there. And yes, vehicles can go and apply, but with specific reasons, they have to provide the reason for being on the road. Metro is completely shut as well. The Chief Minister of the state, M.K. Stalin, has made 14 districts very important because the numbers are increasing over there, and specifically appointed ministers from his cabinet to concentrate specifically on that. These 14 districts definitely include Chennai, Coimbatore, Madurai, Trichy, and various other locations as well. And specifically for Chennai, Madurai, Trichy, and Coimbatore, 2 ministers for each district has been employed to make sure special concentration is provided, and the state believes that within this 2 weeks period of lockdown, the numbers should be brought down one way or the other. With video journalist Divyan, Pramod Madhav for India Today.
Well, BJP versus Kejriwal government war over oxygen cylinders is escalating with every passing day. The BJP has demanded criminal case against the Delhi government over its alleged failure in managing oxygen crisis in spite of proper alerts from the centre. Delhi BJP Chief Adesh Gupta has accused the Chief Minister of Delhi of negligent attitude in handling the situation in Delhi. Gupta has said that Kejriwal did not add a single bed, ventilator or oxygen plant in spite of warnings from the centre in December last year. The BJP has claimed that the Modi government had allocated funds from the PM CARES Fund to Delhi government to set up 8 oxygen plants and arrange tankers, but no step was taken. BJP has also trained guns at Delhi Minister Imran Hussain after he was summoned by the Delhi High Court over charges of hoarding essentials including oxygen cylinders. Amit Malviya has also hit out at Arvind Kejriwal, tweeting a video of the former Congress MP Sandeep Dixit, wherein is heard calling for pressing murder charges against the Delhi Chief Minister.
जिस तरह से दिल्ली सरकार के मंत्री और दिल्ली के आम आदमी पार्टी के विधायक ऑक्सीजन समेत कई चीजों की दवाओं की जमाखोरी कर रहे थे, ऑक्सीजन कंसंट्रेटर की कालाबाजारी जमाखोरी करते हुए जो लोग पकड़े जा रहे हैं या जिन लोगों के ऊपर जिनको कहते दिल्ली का निर्माता का खिताब आम आदमी पार्टी ने दिया है, ऐसे लोग जो आम आदमी पार्टी के दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री के सबसे ज्यादा करीबी और चहेते हैं, वो लोग ऑक्सीजन कंसंट्रेटर की कालाबाजारी कर रहे थे।
अरविंद केजरीवाल के ऊपर में क्रिमिनल मुकदमा कैसे दर्ज हुआ, हम उसके लिए पूरा प्रयास करेंगे। उनको तुरंत 24 घंटे के अंदर अपने विधायक और अपने मंत्री इमरान हुसैन का इस्तीफा लेना चाहिए, और जब तक उनके ऊपर में भारत सरकार को लिखना चाहिए कि इनके ऊपर सीबीआई इंक्वायरी की जाए, और जब तक वो इंक्वायरी खत्म नहीं होती है और जब तक वो साफ उसमें से निकल कर नहीं आते हैं, तब तक उनको मंत्री पद से बाहर रहना चाहिए।
Well, the data given by the Government of India shows that indeed more COVID patients are requiring critical care this time as compared to the first wave of the pandemic. But the second wave has not really increased the deaths. I filed this report earlier. There is a steep spike in cases and a steeper spike in demand for critical care in India. The government says 500,000 people are in critical care in India right now, getting treatment in ICUs and hospitals across the country. Close to 50,000 COVID patients in India are currently in intensive care units. More than 14,500 are on ventilator support. More than 137,000 patients are currently on oxygen support. The government says 1.34% of the active caseload is in ICU. 0.39% of them are on ventilators. 3.7% of them are on oxygen support. Compare this with the first wave of the pandemic that peaked in September, where about 23,000 patients were in ICUs. 4,000 of them were on ventilators. 40,000 required oxygen support. The surge in demand has impacted critical care.
The massive second wave of COVID has created a huge shortfall in critical care beds and ventilators. As a result, there's also a dearth of critical care specialists and ICU nurses due to both the increased numbers and because many of them have mild COVID due to continuous exposure.
The shortage of oxygen cylinders, hospital beds and ICUs has led to an increase in deaths, and not because the virus has caused severe disease during the second wave.
Because of this huge surge in cases, definitely one has to admit that there is some degree of decrease in the quality of care that is being provided because of the number of patients rushing into the emergency and doctors having a tough time. And that may also be affecting morbidity and mortality.
Doctors also explain when in hospital, medications have little role to play and panic around them is unnecessary.
There's a huge number of patients who come and demand to be treated with remdesivir, with things like tocilizumab, itolizumab, and the new drugs bevacizumab and so many others. Depending upon the involvement of other organs other than the lungs, depending upon your symptoms, and then depending upon your severity of the disease, please let the physician decide the course of action.
More than 2.18 crore people have been found infected with the virus in India up until now. The government's own data suggests that more than 2% of all the people infected so far have been admitted to an ICU. More than 92% of infected people have recovered from this infection without requiring any critical care support. In New Delhi, Sneha Mordani for India Today. Well, Assam is all set to get its new Chief Minister. Himanta Biswa Sarma is going to be taking oath as the Chief Minister of Assam. In fact, in just some time from now, it's expected at noon in presence of Governor Jagdish Mukhi. This after Sarma was unanimously elected as the leader of the BJP legislative party in the state, paving his way for the top post in Assam. The oath-taking ceremony is going to be held at Srimanta Sankar Dev in Guwahati, and BJP President JP Nadda is going to be in attendance. India Today has learned that along with Sarma, 8 to 9 MLAs will be taking oath as cabinet ministers today.
श्री हेमंत बिश्वा शर्मा को इस अवसर पर घोषित करता हूं। सभी विधायकों से अनुरोध है।
The Chief Minister's post is a crown he earned after crossing many a milestone in a long political career. His political career began showing an uptick when the BJP made him the convener of the Northeast Democratic Alliance. He grabbed that opportunity to turn BJP's fate in the Northeast. A vision that had always remained elusive to the Bharatiya Janata Party. His rise is special because the BJP rarely elevates a non-BJP RSS cadre man to a high post. This isn't his sole feat. For the BJP, he has pulled off many victories with his political deftness. Due to his proactive measures as the health minister in Sarbananda Sonowal government in time of COVID pandemic, he managed to change the impression of the people towards the BJP government, the popularity of which was eroded following the CAA movement. Except for home, Sarma handled almost all the key portfolios including finance, PWD, health and education in the Sarbananda Sonowal-led BJP government. With his able administrator and political manager image, he has convinced the BJP that he brings a better winnability factor compared to Sarbananda Sonowal, BJP's poster boy in 2016. He managed this in just 6 years after dumping the Congress. His oath ceremony will be a signal to his ex-party bosses who ignored his significance and potential.
Rahul gave me audience. I made him 8-9 times. But problem is that when you talk to Rahul, the discussion was so light that even the dogs come in between. He start plays with the dog, not with the human, when you talk with him.
All this experience will come in handy for Himanta Sarma as he takes charge at a time when state is battling a resurgent virus and anxiety over NRC and CAA.